So with big updates happening all the time, you need to know the level of balance to have between technical on-page SEO and a good user experience. And there's a lot of things in between that you need to know how to do to make sure you combine them effectively. How's it going, guys? Happy Friday. Welcome to another Monarch Minute Joab here to go over things. Just realized that I just did this entire recording in a time lapse. So we're gonna try this again and make sure we actually can hear what's happening and get an actual video out of it. This week, a big thing that happened and we really reflected on was something that happened in May as a whole, which was a Google Core update, May 2020. Google Core updates happen all the time, and some of them are more drastic than others. There has been Google Core updates that make entire sites lose most of their traffic overnight, and there's been core updates that really don't affect anybody and you wouldn't even know they happened. So what was the one in May? Leaning on the side of not as big a deal as there has been. That being said, you still might see some drops in traffic or maybe some drops in rank. Google points out a lot of these updates just to focus on your content and not to worry too much about it. They also talk a lot about how dropping rank in some of these keywords after an update is normal. Now, part of our job is trying to learn these updates and make sure that we accommodate for those changes. And in some instances, there's a lot of necessary actions you need to make. For instance, on a large core update that happened a year back, it changed the precedent from focusing on short-term keywords to actual key phrases, trying to focus more on the intent side of searching. This most recent core update in May, Google had one of the same answers that, again, they normally say for most of them, which is they didn't give you much detail on what was actually changing, and they said most likely not to worry about it and put out good content. This brings up an interesting question that we see all the time across the balance of technical SEO implementation and user experience. What we mean by this is all the time what we're focused in is looking at the nitty-gritty of algorithms and specific key phrase ranking, SEO techniques, and implementation. Now, you obviously need to focus on that. We make a living out of focusing on that. But there's definitely a line to draw, and it creates something that you need to have in all aspects of your life, which is balance between two different things. The two different things in this case is appealing to the algorithm, which is becoming more human-like every day, but at the same time, it's still an algorithm. Think of it as a computer trying to understand a website. You need to make sure that you're showing the computer the right variables it wants to see, so the right key phrases, short load times on your site, buttons in the right places, low bounce rates, a lot of data that actually indicates the site is good. On the other side of it, you also have to make sure it is a good user experience. People like being on the site. There's intangibles that a computer can't quite understand, but a computer can pick up on the fact that lots of users are on your site. We had a client recently, and we get this all the time when we're consulting on some technical SEO. Sometimes people will take it without a grain of salt. A big piece of this comes out in a lot of the tools we use to determine keywords, key phrases, to determine layout of sites as far as what needs to be in what places, and overall looking at data on a site and what it means. Some of the tools we use, for instance, can show you a better way, quote unquote, to a computer to write certain content so that you're appealing to the algorithm. You can enter in your content into the system, it changes certain key phrases and tells you better things to write to appeal to the algorithm. Now, yes, that's a very helpful tool. We use it all the time to help rewrite content. At the same time, you need to understand it's being written to appeal to a computer, which is trying to figure out the best way to appeal to a person. So there is a gap there between the values of what it wants to see. This is where you need to do due diligence and critical thinking to break down the aspects of the on-page technical SEO, but also think about if the user actually likes it. A lot of times when you write something perfectly for a computer, it's going to end up being relatively a basic site with not a lot of dynamic features because you want it to load fast. It's going to be a website that has tons of key phrases, even if maybe they don't actually sound exactly fluent, which happens all the time. And overall, it's going to be a website that is just built to fit the variables in to be read by an algorithm. You have to use your due diligence to be able to break apart some of these, include the helpful aspects of on-page technical SEO, but also make a site that's just nice to be on for a person. Technically, from a load perspective, having a lot of responsive buttons, moving transitions, things like that help a user experience feel more engaged in a website. From an SEO side of things, just helps the site load a lot slower and can cause more problems. This is where you got to use a combination of both. So how do we do that? We use a lot of different softwares and just the knowledge that we've gained over the years on technical SEO, search engine optimization. But a great tool that we use to actually break down some more key phrases is something called SEMrush. There's also quite a few things out there, Screaming Frog, SpyFu, a lot of other softwares that help you determine keywords and good SEO techniques. So go out there and try and use it. Keep in mind, we pay for a premium version, so most likely not everybody's going to want to pay that much for some SEO software. On the other side of it, how do you determine if it's good for user experience? Well, number one, just pay attention to sites that you like to enjoy. Sites that you enjoy the user experience, you like to stay on, it's easy to find what you want, it's just a pleasurable experience on the site. Overall, you want to try and include both of those in your website, and at the end of the day, read your data afterwards and see if people are staying on your site and actually engaging with your content. At the end of the day, that's going to be your biggest indicator if people are enjoying the site. So overall, pay attention to when updates are happening, look to Google to see any suggestions they have based on an update, and most likely they're not going to give you much, so do your due diligence, make sure your content's good, make sure on-page technical SEO is good, and read the data to see if it's working and people are staying on your site. Again, any questions, thoughts, concerns on any of these topics, we're always here to answer questions. We do free consultations, feel free to reach out. Thanks for tuning in to this Monarch Minute, and until next week.